We're all familiar with the old Arthurian legend, right? You know, Arthur, king of the Britons, going on a quest with his trusty knights to retrieve the Holy Grail, slaying ferocious beasts and defeating fearsome warriors. Oh, wait a minute, this is the wrong movie. No, I'm talking about King Arthur, the 2004 movie, with Clive Owen as Artorias the Abyss Walker, Kira of the knightly variety as Guinevere, and this guy. I don't know who he is. You remember that movie, right? It sure was a classic. Well, it had its own tie-in game. Surprising. And it plays pretty much exactly like the Lord of the Rings hack and slash games. Even more surprising. So that means it's gonna be a good game, right? Well, let's not be too hasty now. Since I am a professional reviewer, I watched the movie first to be able to follow the game's plot properly. Well, I watched like half of it, then I fell asleep, so here's my professional and objective review of the movie. Now, on to the game. It does the classic thing of transitioning from low-quality movie cutscenes to the in-game ones, since it follows the movie's basic story beats, taking some liberties of course. And by that, I mean they've crammed at least 50,000 more action scenes than there were in the movie. The epic adventure starts strong with an all-time favorite type of mission, an escort mission. You have to protect the bishop's carriage and lead it to safety. Since the game is couch co-op, you get to choose who you want to play as at the start of each level, and you can always play with a friend. Oh hell yeah, I can play as Germanus? That guy is so cool and smug and an evil prick. I bet I can cast some sweet holy spells from God himself. It's gonna be awesome. Well, if you actually thought that's what's gonna happen, you're insane, but still cool idea. No, in King Arthur you predictably use your sword and bow to dispatch enemies, and boy is the combat busted. You can't tell from the start, since the first mission is easy and lures you into a false sense of security. But from the very next level things get ugly fast. So, you have 3 main attacks, a fast attack, a medium attack, and a power attack. So many attacks! You can also stab a downed enemy to finish them, and unleash a signature attack when your power meter is full, which causes a lot of damage, and powers you up for a little while. You can also lock onto enemies for better combat control. Dark Souls? Nope, it's not Dark Souls at all. You can't dodge, you can't roll, you have no evasive maneuvers whatsoever. You have a pitiful little block move, but good luck getting any meaningful use out of it. You see, in King Arthur you're not fighting human warriors, you're fighting blenders in human form that constantly attack and surround you for maximum frustration. Let me break down how fighting a single enemy works out. You hit the enemy once, they stagger and fall back. You attack a second time and miss, since the enemy is now out of your range. Now the enemy has recovered and retaliates with a full combo you cannot defend against, since you can't block in the middle of your attack animation. So you attack once and move forward to attack again, repeat until the enemy is dead. And don't even think about using the medium and power attacks, they are so slow you'll never be able to get a hit off in time, you'll just be constantly interrupted. What happens when you have to fight multiple enemies? You're screwed, don't even bother, just run around, mass attack, and pray to whatever god you see fit to save you. You'd hope that constantly blocking and retaliating would give you an edge, but enemies barely flinch from a successful block. They just stop for a few seconds before starting up the blender again. If they block you, however, you'll stagger and lose your combo. In fact, every single attack, enemy block, and arrow will stagger you, so if you get cornered, you might as well restart the level. And yes, I did say restart the level, because there are no checkpoints at all. Died at the final fight of a level? Better start all over again. The levels are short, about 10 minutes or so, but they're so packed with constant enemy encounters that they feel much longer than that. Of course, if you die and have to fight the same enemies all over again, you just feel so drained and over it. It's so frustrating. To differentiate from all the other Lord of the Rings hack and slash clones, King Arthur introduces a new mechanic: horse combat. Elden Ring? Not even close, are you serious? Horse combat is even worse than combat on foot. Your horse is super slow and controls like a World War II tank. Thankfully, you can trample and throw enemies around while galloping about, which is satisfying and pretty funny. Makes you feel powerful since no enemy can really stagger you except those damn spear guys. Forget Excalibur, Arthur should just get a really long spear from that lake, then he'd be a real badass king of the Britons. In fact, all the knights should just get a bunch of spears, since their weapon reach is so terrible, they keep getting their asses kicked by a bunch of troglodytes. At the start of each level, you can choose a specific knight from a selection of 2, but it doesn't really make any difference. It's not like they have different abilities or moves, it's just a matter of who has the longest weapon reach so he can actually complete a combo without getting blasted. And can I just take a moment to vent about how stupid the knight designs are? I know they're from the movie and the game actually does a good job making each knight distinct in their style and weapon choice, but they're so goofy. You have Tristan here who looks like a hobo who watches too much anime and can't even use his dumb bird to kill enemies. Boros for some reason thinks swords are overrated and uses those hand blade things, which basically means he just punches while everyone else uses an actual weapon. I get it, Soul Calibur is cool and very historically accurate, but out of all the characters you went and chose Talim? And then there's Lancelot. Damn, he looks so cool with his stupid little butter knives. I'm sure they're gonna be very useful when you're surrounded by 10 enemies with no way out. To be fair, archery is pretty overpowered and you can easily dispatch a foe with 1 or 2 arrows. But the lock-on system is broken and most of the enemies just outright block your arrows with their annoying shields you have to break before dealing any damage. You can also pick up power-ups scattered throughout the level for maximum defense, maximum melee, or maximum archery, and at the end of each level you can increase your stats with the experience you have gained. All these are neat additions to the gameplay loop, and I appreciate them for what they are. The level design, however, is bland and drags on for way too long. Mission goals are annoying and repetitive and essentially boil down to killing all the enemies, babysitting someone, or breaking down obstacles under a time limit. And don't forget that if you die or fail, you have to restart the mission all the way from the beginning. The game also doesn't think that having to fight 5 enemies at once is unfair enough. It has to constantly trick you into random beginner traps and unavoidable deaths. Oh look, a bridge you can cross. Nope, it falls down, too bad, restart the level. Oh look, random boulders falling down that you can barely see coming. I especially love this part, you have to dodge this Crash Bandicoot trap here, and as soon as you do, a boulder comes out of nowhere and smashes your face in. It's like the game wants you to fail to eat up your non-existent quarters. It's such a shame, since overall the game is pretty good. The graphics look great, the music is bland and repetitive, but serviceable given its scenario, and combat feels good and has some weight behind its hit. But the gameplay is so repetitive and frustrating, it really sucked out all of my enjoyment, and I was left with barely any motivation to continue. King Arthur, the game, definitely had potential. Its good presentation and engaging combat make it far more interesting than the movie was. But unfortunately, the gameplay is so frustrating, it eventually became a chore having to complete a level. Is it worth playing? If you can stomach its unforgiveness and repetitive combat, you'll probably enjoy it. And that's King Arthur in a nutshell. Thank you very much for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like and a comment below if you did, and subscribe for more reviews. Have a great day, and until next time, take care and have fun.